We've all heard about the July game show event that Xbox is planning. It's supposed to highlight all the massive AAA first-party games they're going to release on the Xbox Series X. Multiple executives have come out and even confirmed this show, and most insiders have hyped it up to be a complete blowout of what Xbox has for their first party. But what about Sony's PlayStation 5 event that will showcase the console along with new first-party and third-party games that will be on display? And these events aren't a secret anymore, which a lot of insiders have been talking more and more about. Do we know everything that's going to be shown at the show? Of course not. But we can make certain things out and try to paint a decent picture of what will be at these events. Especially since we have the PS5 and the Xbox Series X coming out at the end of this year. So this summer is basically the only time both Sony and Xbox can show their next generation consoles. Specifically Sony though, since they haven't even shown the console or talked about their first party developers have been working on. So this June event and the rumored August event are very important for them. And that's exactly what this article and insiders are talking about, which is the strategy that Sony is trying to execute for their next generation marketing of their PlayStation 5 console. So let's dive into these articles and see what events are going to happen for Sony, and most importantly, what games we can expect to see at these events. But like always, if you like the video, hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. Alright, enough of that. Let's get into this Sony event because, to be honest, we've all been waiting to see what Sony has to show for the next generation. And don't get me wrong, what they did last week was massive. They showed the awesome tech demo by Epic on the Unreal 5 engine. And then they closed the week out with an amazing gameplay feature of Ghost of Tsushima. So for all intents and purposes, Sony has been promoting their PlayStation brand pretty well recently. But that doesn't change the fact that they've kept the PS5 specs very close to the vest, and have kept the design of the console even more in the shadows. So when I hear about a potential June event and an August event for PlayStation, my interests get piqued. Especially since Sony only has about 6 months left to promote their next generation console, which the article points out here when it says this. Word is, Sony is planning 2 events for the summer. One in early June that we've already heard from various sources, and another in August. Grub originally signaled out June 4th as the date for the earlier event, but apparently Sony is moving it around even if early June timeframe hasn't changed. Both the June and August events will showcase a combination of first-party and third-party next-gen games. As for when we'll be granted a look at the actual PlayStation 5 hardware, Grub says we'll likely have seen it by the time the August event rolls around, indicating the June event may be the big unveiling. Okay, I know that's a lot of information, but let's try to break it down so we can get an understanding of what Sony might do. First up is the June 4th event that might happen on that date or be moved around a little to fit what Sony wants. To me, this event will be the event to showcase the PS5 and maybe some third-party games or even a first-party game. I say that because we all know that Xbox and Microsoft plan to have a June event that will concentrate on the hardware side of the company, which to me means the Xbox Series X. At this event, I think Xbox will show the console inside and out and also put pre-orders up for people to get. That should push Sony to show the PS5 and also put the price up for their console and have their pre-orders go up also. That's the first thing I could think about when I hear a new June event for Sony. Talk about the console, show us the console, and show us some third-party support for the console. I say third-party because a lot of developers want to have their games advertised and they can't wait for Sony to decide when that happens. So I think there's a little bit of pressure on Sony to show their new console and get the marketing campaigns rolling on some of the third-party marketing deals they have signed. As for the flexible timeline, I think this has more to do with Xbox than people think. I believe Sony wants to wait as long as they can for Xbox to show their console and their price of the console. Because of this, I think Sony will want to show everything on June 4th, but might push it back a few weeks to have Microsoft and Xbox go first. Either way, I believe we'll get a massive showing by both Xbox and PlayStation in June, detailing everything about their hardware. But aside from the hardware, what else can we expect to see from Sony's camp in regards to software, or more so, the games? The article goes into talking about some of the titles that might be shown there. On social media, Grub had also mentioned that this would be a huge next-gen showcase, but the shifting timelines means he's no longer confident of that. He reports that there will be a significant selection of first-party and third-party titles, but he's since suggested on Twitter that some publishers may pull reveals out of the PS5 showcase for events of their own. Now, this is what I find to be a little weird, because I do expect Sony to show off some first-party titles. Do I expect them to have a massive showing like Xbox will in July? No, not even close. I say that because a lot of their top developers have just released the game or are currently working on a current generation game. Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch being two massive studios that are releasing huge games this summer. Games like The Last of Us 2, which is coming in June, and to close out the generation, Ghost of Tsushima. So what first-party developers from Sony do I expect them to show? I think Guerrilla Games will be the first developer to drop something, which I believe will be Horizon Zero Dawn 2. Now, I don't expect to see gameplay of the game, but I do expect to see them drop a cinematic trailer or even a title card with a developer from the studio talking about the promise of the PS5 and how it helps their engine push the boundaries of what's possible in a game. Not to mention, Guerrilla is one of the biggest developing teams at Sony, and they make amazing software that pairs with their games. So expect them to be one of the developers to get the most out of the PlayStation 5 and talk about it in depth. The next game I expect to see is Godfall, which I'm almost certain will be there, especially since it's one of the only launch titles said to be on the PlayStation 5. Sony really has to show more about this game because this will be one of the biggest games when the PlayStation 5 launches. If they don't market it this summer, then I honestly don't know when they will. I expect multiple developers from the studio to talk about the PS5 and how the tech helped them push the game to heights they just couldn't do with the current gen consoles. Not to mention, I expect to see some extensive gameplay of the console running on the PlayStation 5 hardware. If they don't do this, I will consider that event to be a letdown, much like a lot of people felt that the Inside Xbox show was a letdown because it didn't have enough gameplay. After that, I expect an extensive third-party reveal with about 2 major games and maybe a couple indies to close it out. One of the games I hope is there, but is a long shot, has to be the new Batman game. If we remember, the last Batman game was advertised on the PlayStation 4 and it also got an exclusive console when it launched. This was one of the best-selling games last generation and helped PS4 sell a ton of units. So why not the new Batman help usher in a brand new generation and give PS5 a massive third-party game and its marketing rights? This game could help PS5 stay on top while their first-party developers are given time to make something great. Plus, I just want to see the new Batman game, and I hope for my own selfish reasons it's shown this summer. But that's not all. I also believe they will show current gen games and show some cross-generational games, which the article points out here. I do anticipate that Sony will have shown the PlayStation 5 off in detail by the start of its following event. The company's putting together one of its state of play video presentations for early August. This will highlight a combination of current and next gen games. There you have it, folks. Not only will we get a detailed showing of the PlayStation 5, but we'll also get some current generation games and next generation games. Now, I think like Xbox, Sony will have a massive showing of the PlayStation 5 specs in June, with maybe a game to showcase what they do on the hardware. After that, in the August state of play, I think they'll showcase all the games I talked about, having everything on the table by September just in time for people to make a decision on the console they want to buy. And just like Xbox's show in July with all their first-party games, I think Sony will show multiple first and third-party games in August. Let's hope all of these rumors come true because I'm ready for Sony to finally show us what they have in store for next generation. But enough about what I think about all this. Tell me what you think about all of this. Do you think Sony will finally show the PS5 specs in June? What games do you think will be shown this summer? What first-party Sony teams are ready to show their next game? Do you think Horizon Zero Dawn will be shown in gameplay or just a little info card? Do you think Sony has a secret second-party exclusive deal coming to show? What third-party games do you think will be shown at the Sony event? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button to support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games, sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there. So get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing and let's compete in achievements for the month. Currently, I've been on my PlayStation, so I've been on my PS4 Pro playing The Last of Us Remastered. The game is extremely intense and a really good build-up. After that, I think I'm going to dive into Horizon Zero Dawn. I've never played the game, but I know a lot of people love it, and it's one of the best new IPs to come out this generation. I look forward to jumping into that game. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.